Welcome to the podcast. What do we got, gang?
We got Denise Scott. We got Nathan Broad.
It's too much, Swanee.
Missed it, Chrissie.
She missed it, Chrissie.
You need therapy.
My team didn't make the finals, and you were very, very soft with me. I really appreciate it, Dino.
No worries,
Playing the
brother.
Collingwood theme song every
Gentle.
5 minutes. Gentle, very gentle.
Denise Scott.
She had no idea what she was talking about.
Nah, but it was very good. Podcasters, enjoy.
Chrissie, Sam and Brownie.
The podcast.
Morning, Melbourne, and especially Jonathan and Dean,
Oh, yeah?
and also Carlton supporters.
Oh, geez, the poor buggers. It's been a terrible, not even 24 hours, been about 12 hours, Swanee. Just
How
devastation. My family was eating for, what's the word? Just consoling
For
themselves.
Australia.
Eating for Australia.
Awake for the season.
It was awake. The wake started last night because I did the Sydney St Kilda game and I got home and there was boxes and boxes of Mickey Lee's pizza.
Oh, how good.
Some eating for their depression was going on in our household, Christine Swan. So I happily came in and just cleaned up the mess.
Oh.
You know what I ate last night? I ate 16 pieces of pizza when I got home.
16.
16. There you go.
That's what? 2 pizzas.
2 pizzas. Thank you very
You were
much.
a hungry boy.
Jesus, I was hungry. I was ravaged, Swanee.
See a doctor, brother. See a doctor.
And you're not even a Carlton supporter.
I'm not even
Of course,
a
your
Carlton
daughter
supporter.
is. She would have been heartbroken. I watched the game. I'd love to see the ratings because I reckon people that, don't even barrack for either of those teams and generally don't watch the footy like me, we were tuned in.
It felt like yesterday that Cozzy Pickett screwed him over with 11 seconds to go. Then 7 days later, happens again, John.
Yes, I know.
It's unbelievable.
Devastation. Devastation.
We're talking
Anyway.
footy in detail next, though.
Absolutely. We'll get to talking footy next. Looking forward to chatting to Brodie later on in the day too, because Nathan Broad, of course, Richmond star, because the Tigers are playing my boys, Swanee, at the start of the finals in Thursday week.
Tigers v Lions. Tigers will win. So, anyway.
Go jamming.
Chrissie, Sam and Brownie.
Ready to make up for missed holidays with whatif.com?
Gotta love an Aussie winter getaway, but bring on spring.
Jump on the What If app to book hotels, holiday rentals, flights and more.
What if it's Aussie for travel?
Warm them up, Swan. Warm them up.
Talking footy.
There's a lot happening, so we'll barrel through this. What's the time? 6:08. We've got a few minutes.
Get your boys out of the way. What is going on?
Brisbane. Jeez, they were as flat as a pancake on Friday night. Disappointing.
Who'd they play against?
Melbourne blew them off the
Melbourne
park.
blew them. I saw the score.
They certainly
Quarter
blew them,
time.
yes.
They blew them.
Yes.
They blew them hard.
Yes!
Sugar.
It was
A full crowd of
me,
your
dear
fans rocked up to watch that.
I know, it was disappointing. I was speaking to the hierarchy up in Brisbane and they said they were disappointed because the Gabba was heaving. There was no Gabator. I'm not sure what the opposite of Gabator was.
Well, it was actually.
For the Lions.
For the Lions.
But the home team is not supposed
The
to get
Lions.
sliced and diced.
The
It was a
Lions.
zoo, and Melbourne were the zookeepers.
Correct.
Jeez, it was disappointing. Anyway,
Yeah.
Lions shut the bed.
Yep.
Melbourne's in the head. Fags needs 18 couches this week. 22 couches, actually. He needs to sit them all down, put them on the psychologist couch.
Yes.
And get it all out there. They need to show their vulnerability. Actually, you know what? Vulnerability is this buzzword, and it's bullshit. Because Brisbane have listened to it too much. I don't want vulnerable Lions out there, Swanee, on a Friday night at the Gabba. Or the Gabatoire, okay? I want the opposite of vulnerable. I want killers. I want blokes to go and start to play like killers if you're going to wear the Lions jumper. Because at the moment, maybe they're playing in too much of a vulnerable state.
This is
Well
big.
said, John.
This is big.
Like, honestly, that's no theatre for the vulnerable. Okay?
It's actually not. But
I've
maybe
got some vulnerable boys up in the forward line at the moment. Okay? I've got 3 big key forwards. They're very vulnerable at the moment, Swanee.
maybe
Okay? Do you think Pikey was vulnerable during his career?
Say vulnerable again. I'm leaving.
You think Vossi
I'm
was
out.
vulnerable
I'm
during
out.
his career?
maybe they were privately.
You think Scotty was vulnerable? Like he was a street fighter. He'd tear your head off.
Do you think Uncle Martin was vulnerable? Do you?
I don't.
Do you think he's still vulnerable?
No.
Wouldn't have thought so.
No.
Anyway, I just
I
had to
got
get it off my
excited
chest.
earlier on before you went on your vulnerability rant. Thought he'd written a poem when
I
he
know.
said, Tigers shit the bed, Melbourne are in the head. I was like, oh, he's written a poem.
Roll over.
It's turning into a little haiku from Jonathan. Roll over.
It'd be so nice if you did that.
Let's get to the big issue out of that game. Of course, Dane Zorko said something to Harrison Petty, who's a Melbourne defender. That really blew up. Harrison Petty was emotional scene to three-quarter time. He had to be consoled by the coaching staff of Melbourne, Swanee, so clearly something got said by Dane Zorko in passing.
Do you know what it is?
Dane Zorko said something.
You don't have to share, but do you know what
reference a family member.
I've heard what it is.
Do we know which family member it is?
His sister.
It was relating to his mum.
His mum, His mum's crook. So, said something to his mum.
Well, I haven't heard this then. I heard something else.
Apparently unbeknownst to Dane, didn't realise she was crook, and there was some other stuff said preceding that. So, but it's not good enough. Dane Zorko let himself down as captain of the Lions, no doubt about that. In context, though, there was a little bit of tit for tat. Comment came out. Dane's adamant that he didn't realise that Harrison's mum was crook. So nothing further will happen. Harrison and Melbourne don't want anything to go further. They handled it very well, both clubs, especially Melbourne, who addressed it with Brisbane straight away. They handled it behind the scenes. Move on, so the AFL won't do anything, Swanee.
Speaking of Melbourne, the team, not the city, in honour of Melbourne.
Yes.
I was at Entrecôte on Saturday night. And, I took one of the dinner
Stevie
guests.
May there?
Well, I took one of the dinner guests outside and I said, you'll be Stevie May and I'll be Jack Melkton, and we beat each other up.
Oh, Swan, that's lovely.
Was it over at the steak Fritz just being well done?
It was.
Yeah, you need to be medium rare.
It was.
What cuisine are we talking?
Sorry, French.
Sounds très bien to me.
It was très bien. It was Joel's birthday party. It was amazing.
There's a bit to talk about, so let's move on. Remember Clarko, we got off air.
Remember
9 o'clock.
Clarko.
Remember Clarko.
I remember him, mate.
He was announced as the North Melbourne coach, which is great. Fantastic for North Melbourne supporters. He's a former player there, Swanee.
Do you think that he'd signed that or given a gentleman's shake much earlier than the Bombers had started to talk to him?
Well, I think so. I think he was a long way down the track. It's interesting that he actually met Essendon just out of respect. I'm not sure why you would meet Essendon out of respect if you had given a commitment. You know what I mean?
Good point.
So I'm not sure there. There's parts of that sort of doesn't quite mesh up. But I think North Melbourne were a long way down the track. They've been in discussions with him for quite a few weeks. Sonia Hood, well done to her. A bit of Peggy O'Neill about her. Sonia Hood is the chairman or the president of North Melbourne. So kudos to her. What our Kane Corns yesterday said, right, enough of the victory lap, Sonia. He reckons Sonia's just doing a bit of because
Kane.
Because Sonia gave Kane a bit of a clip, said, you know, if she hadn't sort of clipped me, I would have gone on the radio show and announced it. So Kane said, okay, Sonia, enough of the victory lap. Because there has been celebrations all weekend.
Yeah.
The Messiah is coming home,
It's a
Sonia.
good get.
It's a great get.
Kane likes giving people the shits, doesn't he?
Absolutely he does. Now, what about Benny Rutten? So, the man that I guess is the collateral damage of all this, former Essendon coach Ben Rutten, hasn't been handled that great, Swanee. Obviously, Essendon tried to get in on the Clarko sweepstakes, got all excited, a little bit too late. Failed to notify Ben Rutten, who was the current coach at the time, that they were going to talk to Alistair Clarkson. So he was disappointed. He coached on Saturday night. They were beaten by your boys, Swanee, the Richmond Tigers. But this is what Ben Rutten had to say in his final press conference as Essendon coach last night when he came.
Ben, how do you feel you've been treated by the club this week? How does it sit with you? Do you feel like you've been treated poorly, or how would you describe it?
Yeah, it's been disappointing. Yeah, I think, probably think I deserve better, and I think that's something I think, we just need to, as a club, we need to come together as a whole football club.
He gets a payout now, doesn't he, John? A year.
He does get a payout, absolutely. He stared the club in the face and made them sack him. So he gets a payout.
So he's at a nightclub and the Bombers have gone over to another man and tried to hit on him, failed at picking up the other man, and then Ben come back to Ben Rutten and said, oh, no, we're not India. That's effed up, man.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
It's a brutal world, Swanee. They should have jumped earlier, Essendon. If they wanted to get Clarko, they need to jump earlier because he was available.
It reminds me of that great song, I'm in the corner watching you kiss her.
Yeah.
I believe that happened to Pangy. So
it did, yeah.
Pangy is the Ben Rutten of...
Correct.
So the similar story happened to Ben?
Did.
Yeah, okay. So 20 years ago, of course, Sam went with a lady who was his girlfriend at the time. She fancied another guy, the Alistair Clarkson of the room.
Correct, yeah.
She went over and actually completed the deal.
She did,
And,
she
however,
got him to coach her.
That's right. However, They needed engagement from Pangy at the end of the night because they didn't have a... No, that's right. So
he needed
Pangy
to get
needed
home.
Engagement because he needed to get home, so they had to ask the guy for $20 to get home. So.
Apparently he pulled on the man's trousers like a kid and said, excuse me, Daddy,
Sarah.
I think he said.
Yeah.
And bad luck to the Carlton supporters last night, including my daughter, Olivia Brown, I was reliably informed by my wife, Kylie, who took her to sit amongst the 88,000 people. What a Sunday afternoon.
Wow.
Poor Liv was in tears at the end of the game.
Oh, man.
In tears. So what a shattering day. I felt for my mate Vossi, but what a great day and what a great way to finish the season.
For a mutual observer, though, that lived up to its hype. Don't worry about the time. I'll go quick next. That lived up to its hype. 88,000, 1 point. That was insane. That was like the biggest party.
Couldn't have been better.
Couldn't have been better, could it?
Well, it could have been better for Carlton supporters, but
yeah.
as someone with no skin in the game, I really enjoyed it.
Mate.
You know, the worst part is Carlton had the opportunity with about a minute to go when Corey Durdin had the opportunity to just kick it inside 50. If they had kicked the point, Carlton would have been playing Collingwood next week in the first final.
Oh, it's so... But the what-ifs are the
Didn't
ones
quite
that kill
go
you.
to script, but bad. Like, how good's Collingwood? 9 out of 11 close games decided by less than a goal. They've won this year. Amazing. It's a fairy tale story.
Brother.
My man Fly is absolutely going great.
Isn't it?
Don't worry about the Blue Baggers. They're on their way up. My man Vossi. He's got them flying. They're all my men. Chris Scott down at Geelong. How good are the ex-Lions boys as
Fabulous.
coaches?
We're going to go to the ads with Dan Hannonbury's retirement speech now.
I did that game. Sensational. I'm going, where's Dino with the dump button?
So AFL players, Swanee, there seems to be a loophole at the moment for emotional post-matches that just drop F-bombs.
Yeah.
He was there with Sarah Jones.
This is a clean one.
Post-game was sensational.
With me, Dan, a deep breath, some beautiful moments there with your former Sydney Swans teammates and your former Sydney Swans coach. How fitting is it that you played the side you won a flag with?
Yeah, it's pretty special. Sorry.
This is the Chrissie, Sam and Brownie podcast. And now it's time for Whose Plotline Is It Anyway?
Dum 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 dum.
Your life, Dino.
Oh, mate.
I don't even know how you keep going. I'm exhausted.
Hey, you know what the annoying thing is, Swan? Hollywood rips off my narratives, things that have happened to me.
How dare they?
If you know what narrative they've ripped off you call up and you win a whole bunch of... You win gold class tickets, we'll give you some donuts. It'll be great.
You should be getting sweet royalties for all these storylines.
Oh, shit, man.
Correct.
So me and a whole bunch of friends lived in the same house. But when people used to walk in the room, we used to freeze and hit the deck like we weren't real. You understand?
Yeah. That's a great prank.
Great prank, but that was just how we survived.
Right.
And then one time, this new cat, because I ruled the roost, and I was a bit of a cowboy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then one time, this guy who looked like he was from the future moved into our house, and he thought he started running the show. Again, every time someone used to walk in the door, we used to freeze up like those goats. Have you seen those petrified goats?
Yeah, I love them.
And they just hit the deck.
Yeah.
Anyway, one time, one of our friends fell out the goddamn window, and the neighbours kidnapped him. So the whole crew had to buck up, throw away that vulnerability and save our goddamn friend. You know what I'm saying, John?
Absolutely, I do.
Ben and Karam, you got any chance whatsoever of getting this right?
It sounds very much like Toy Story. It ripped you off.
You just remember what you
Oh, now I see it so clearly.
That's pretty good from Ben.
That's really good from
Well done,
Ben.
Benny.
Thank
Good
you very
guess,
much.
mate.
Man,
Cheers, mate.
What a beautiful movie. And you going to the movies, gold class. We'll give you those flash tickets. Yes. I might sweeten it up.
Thank you very much, guys.
Some Daniel's Donuts.
What?
And you have a family,
nice.
old boy? That's a big question.
I do. I do have a family.
You're taking them? If you didn't, it doesn't matter, you know.
Doesn't
A
matter.
little bit of regret as soon as it came out.
A family past the Puffing Billy Railway.
Don't ever change.
Oh, nice. Just down the road.
Only if you make the sound of a choo-choo train right now.
Chit, chit.
Ever wondered what happens in the studio? Check out Chrissie, Sam and Brownie on Instagram.
Now, I noticed over the weekend, actually over the last few weeks, there's been a lot of editorials about online dating and how men are lonely. There is a lot of men online and men outnumber the women, which is unusual, I think. I was surprised by that. So on Tinder and whatnot, lots of lonely single men, and they're saying, what are we doing wrong?
What's the demographic? What would be the most common demographic, Swanee, do you think?
Well, I'm not on the apps, Dino. What do you think the most
Well, they
40s?
No, they pair it with you around your age. So I'm not really sure. I only see the ones around. No, you give a range. So my range is like 25 to 45.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the age you're chasing.
Yeah,
the people that are actually on it.
Well, that's my point. You only get the ones advertised to you in your range.
And also, I think it depends on the app. So some apps attract an older demographic, like RSVP, which was around, in the 90s and 2000, no, not 90s, in the 2000s, would be popular with, maybe an older.
And there was some shame
group
around that, weirdly, don't you reckon?
Yeah,
with internet
whenever anything's new, you go, oh, yeah, no, we met at the petrol station. Yeah.
Imagine meeting at the petrol station.
But now everybody meets.
Stinking of diesel.
Everybody.
That'd be good. You did well.
Hot.
If you got her over the line. If you turned her at the petrol bowser stinking of diesel, well done to you.
That is a real achievement. But now everybody meets on apps.
I wash the windows for her.
But here's a line. With so many men on dating apps these days, women are overwhelmed by how many options they have. But women are being increasingly selective, which of course I endorse. But I want to hear from the guys. Are you finding this? Are you like, Jesus, what? I've got to raise my standards here. I've got to pretend to be someone I'm not.
Really?
Yeah. I just want to know what your opinion is, because of all these articles are obviously skewed to women going, ugh, God, there's no one interesting online. They've got to lift their standards. I want to know what it's like to be in that group. 13 24 10. Are you a guy on the apps? What is your experience on the apps? And are you thinking, she's so creaky, I'm never going to meet anyone?
She's hard work.
This is the Chrissie, Sam and Brownie podcast.
So we're talking dating apps. Dino.
Yeah, brother.
If you were just, trying to have a little dalliance for the weekend, which app would you go for?
Okay, so like a quick, gratifying hookup.
Yeah.
I think Tinder, in theory.
Okay.
But again, I'd hook up with more people I meet in real life because I need to work on them a bit. You know what I mean?
The long-term
my photos aren't the most compelling.
About a long-term relationship.
Good question. I'd say like a Hinge, maybe. And then like an in-between, Bumble. Gardner, you chip in here. You were single?
I was single, yeah. I would agree with that. Tinder tends to be the hookup site. Hinge, something a little more meaningful. But then, having said that, I met my boyfriend on Tinder. So
there you go.
And we've got another friend who's met their partner on Tinder. I mean, who the hell knows how they're?
I would have to meet mine on Ashley Madison, I would have thought.
Ashley Madison? What do you
say? For someone other than my wife. What did you? Other than my wife. Who's with me? Come on. Ashley Madison's right high. Come on, boys.
Come on.
Not yet. Well, hang on, no, there's a few. Other than my wife.
Open the door, the boys want to come in. Come in, fellas!
Come on, boys!
Looking for someone other than my wife.
Rounds on me!
Other than my wife.
We're all going to be lonely, boys!
I have completely forgotten that ad.
It's the greatest.
And I love it. No, there was a lot of articles over the weekend. Apparently there are too many lonely single men. Women are overwhelmed by how many options they have, and it's no wonder that women are increasingly selective. Women talk a lot about this. But I want to hear from the guys. Vince from Nazzawaza. Vince.
How are you?
Good, mate. What's going on? Are you lonely? What's going on here?
No, you obviously get on these apps to meet a partner or a friend of some kind, and you try. And my very first experience on Catfish, I ended up turning at someone's front door with a punnet of strawberries and a bottle of champagne. It was an old guy on a walking frame that answered the door. Total catfish.
But good night, though. Good night.
Hang on.
How was he?
They connected very strong.
Oh, yeah.
It was a lovely... Yes?
And I tried every different kind of profile, from being a gentleman to being like, righto, we're going to go in the gutter with this one. Last call.
Yeah, right.
And it wasn't until 3 o'clock one morning when some chick called Lisa replied, and I decided to be celibate for the rest of my life.
Really? Look, I
mean, if that's the best I can achieve, I'll take photos of myself, no school.
I'm worried that if he keeps going...
Yeah, Vince is a loose unit. Yeah. But I think there's something to be said. Also, it says here Vince is in his late 50s. Sometimes you just can't be bothered.
Yeah, Vince,
Do you know what I mean?
That's small talk.
It's actually go for a walk, have a nice coffee with yourself.
That's what I do. That's what I do now. It's not unusual for me to have a 20-kilometre walk. Yeah.
Vince,
into the woods. Those strawberries you turned up with, though, they had those little safety pins.
They did, yeah.
That
wasn't
dude,
cool.
You're not going to believe this. Like, I'm sitting next to my mate, and this woman hits me up and says, "Do you want me to send my driver around?"
I tell you what, Vince, I'm going to keep your...
I should have hooked on her.
No, I'm going to keep your number because I do want to talk about catfishing. There's a great documentary on Netflix that I watched on the weekend about catfishing, and I want your full story, so we'll keep Vince's number, guys.
Vince, we'll give you an hour.
I want that full story.
The whole episode.
Vince, you got a year's worth of binge, brother. That's pretty good. Harry, what do you got for us, Harold?
From my experience, over 50s, men are just interested in playing around. They don't want commitment. They know they can have a different date every night of the week. So it's like, I just want to go with the flow. And there's no real commitment there. They're not looking for it.
Well, they've got a family at home. They've done the family thing. They want to try something different. Different area.
Exactly.
But Harry, if they're being honest about they just want to get some action, are you saying they're not being honest about that?
There's no commitment. They're not sure what they want, but they're on a dating app, so go figure.
Do you think maybe, women need to adjust their requirements as well?
I know what they're doing. They're looking
and go with the flow. Let's go with the flow. I've heard it so many times. I don't really understand it.
I can explain it to you.
I know what they're looking for, Harry. They're looking for someone other than their wife.
It's rough. Go with the flow, Harry. Sounds so cheesy. Oh, my God. Let's go with the flow, What? It means you just want to root around, you dirty boy.
That's fine. Isn't that fine?
But, word it a bit better than go with the flow.
Yeah, go with the flow.
Yeah, that's
so
true. How would you... Let's do a community service announcement. The next time somebody says to you, I just want to go with the flow.
Yeah.
What are they really saying? They're saying, I'm a busy person. I'm at a stage of my life where I don't think that I can give you what you want to have, but I quite like you and I'm happy to see you once a fortnight.
And I'm looking for
someone
just looking for someone.
Finally, Sam in Strathmore, shed some light on your dating antics.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hi,
so basically I matched with a blue-hair girl that I would consider I'm out of her league, if that's quite frank way of putting it.
What, you're better than her, or she's...
Well, yeah, pretty much. I go to the gym, I've got nice tattoos, all that.
Have you got a barbed wire tattoo around your bicep?
Good question.
No, I've got a big lion on my shoulder.
Of course he does.
And, I got unmatched because she asked me if I was into pegging, and I wasn't.
And now, how do you know you're not into pegging unless you've tried, Sam? Maybe she showed you the door and you could have walked through it, but you were a coward. You chose not to.
We all go to the bathroom in the morning. We all wipe.
Okay, what do you reckon? We're going to put that down, or is he a loose cannon?
Oh, I'm still confused.
Okay, back to Sam.
No,
right.
Thank you.
What's pegging?
Doesn't matter.
Sam,
just putting your clothes out, old school style.
Oh, that's right.
Pegs and
It's the world's biggest show. It's from the minds that gave you Game of Thrones and it's House of Dragon. Everyone just got a full year of binge. Stream new episodes of House of Dragon every Monday on Binge. Pegging John, so it's P-E-G-G.
Chrissie, Sam and Brownie.
The podcast.
Good morning, Melbourne. Welcome to your Monday. Jonathan, Dino, Sam Pang.
Good morning.
Horseplay.
What's that?
Hijinks.
Yes.
What do you reckon, Ash?
I like it.
Whoa.
Sounds good.
What a surprise. Putts.
Sorry?
Nothing.
Putts.
Haven't heard that in a while.
Did you end up there?
Did you go to the game?
I didn't. No, we didn't. Because the game started at 3:20.
Yeah.
And we shot Have You Been Paying Attention yesterday, and it started at 2:30. So you've never seen me. You've never seen me. Tonight's show is just me. Tom asking a question. I give a correct answer. Let's move on. Let's move this on, Tom. We shot Have You Been Paying Attention last night in 12 minutes.
How did you feel? Because you wouldn't have known because you're in that sort of television studio vacuum.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have known until the end.
Yeah, and I got out in time to see. The worst spot I saw some of our goals, in the third quarter. and then I saw all of their goals in the last quarter.
And all
well
of
done.
Carlton's points in the last quarter.
Yeah,
I'm not being a smart ass, but how does it feel to narrowly beat two of the favourite teams and then narrowly lose and then just not make the finals?
Feels great.
Yeah, it feels great.
Really, there's a lot of green shoots there and everything's positive. Get the hell out.
So much better than the Bulldogs.
All right.
So much better than the Bulldogs. Anyway, I was in a vacuum as well. I was at Marvel Stadium doing Sydney St Kilda. It was half time. We tried to watch the last 3 minutes of Carlton Collingwood.
Oh, what
You
happened?
look around, there's 30,000 other people trying to do exactly the same thing.
And no one can get on the KO because of the reception.
Could not get on the KO. We're in a black hole. We didn't know who.
This is the Chrissie, Sam and Brownie podcast.
This is what happened over the weekend.
News, sport, drama and entertainment.
It's the weekend that was with Sam and Ben.
Where do you want to start, Swanee? Because my weekend started way back on Friday.
Let's start there.
At a luncheon, John?
We did. Absolutely. I rolled the Hilux up to Pang's place, picked him up and toot out of the Keilor Football Club. Where do we go first?
Hang on a minute.
Before the Keilor Football Club.
We went to every sporting club in Keilor before we actually got to the right one.
What do you mean? This sounds like a punish.
We couldn't find it. We're driving around Keilor.
Oh, that's okay.
Who was navigating? Because you were driving.
Pang was navigating. Well, mate, we're amongst these soccer fields in Keilor. No one there. There's a couple of workers, construction workers.
Mate, you've been in his car. He's like Captain Kirk on the Starship Enterprise. No one else is allowed to touch anything. You know, man? I keep going, are you sure this is the right place? I know where we're going.
I agree. And look, I don't want to throw any shade on the Hilux, but I always feel like we're on ice. And it's the way, not like the drug.
Oh, okay, gotcha,
It feels
gotcha.
like the car is on ice. He drives he's one with the vehicle is what I'm saying. And we are just flying.
The only thing I'd say is not to have a go at your sponsor, right? Yeah, because you're an ambassador.
Yeah.
But you've got that big screen, right? That it's like the screen at the MCG. That's got a map on it, but you do your maps on your phone. I don't know what it's like. It's like there's too many things going on. Too many screens, mate.
Are you that deeply against being told what to do?
No, I'm not at one with my car. Oh no, me and the Hilux we're together.
So it's funny. We went
same
out.
Thing we are.
We went out to Keilor Football Club to for a function.
Eventually, we got there.
Wink. No sheets or sheets on this one.
It wasn't a charity, but Nathan Buckley was out there.
It was for Mick McGuan. Mick McGuan's
McGuan.
the godfather of the Keilor Football Club. Mm-hmm. He's coached there 15 years, a legend.
So we get there, we start off. The whole thing starts before I walk through the door, and Jonathan, myself, and Nathan Buckley are standing there, and before I said, I can wonder where we're all sitting.
Bucks has got a T-shirt on. He's got a business lunch.
Unbelievable.
I think Bucks changing dress up.
Bucks thought there was a gym there or something. I meant he was going to pump out a couple of sets, but. Before we get set to our table, all of a sudden the auctioneer's on stage and we're getting auctioned off to sit at your table, Swan. What a start to the day.
Hang on a minute. As a trio or separated?
Separated.
Oh, God. This is no amount of money could make that okay.
Swan, it's all going to the club.
Did Mick McGuan allude to the fact that this would be happening?
No, that was a bit of a surprise to me because I just thought,
this is amazing.
There was a table of housewives though that I was eyeing off. I'm thinking, geez, I hope they bid for me. So I sort of, gave them a couple of winks. So they started the bidding because I put my hand up, didn't I? I said, I'm going to be first through the walls. Yeah. Someone's got to put their neck on the chopping block. And, maybe be the sacrificial lamb to sort of hit the benchmark.
Were you just humming the Ashley Madison thing? Ladies, we'll start the bidding.
How much do you go for, Big John?
It was $1,000, wasn't it?
Very good.
Right.
And the
just
girls
for him to sit at your table.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
And it was the housewives. Don't worry about it. The housewives of Keilor. They wrapped me up very quickly.
What about you, Sam?
Nathan was next, of course, the former Brownlow medalist and
What did he get?
I felt a bit.
No, what did he get?
He went for 2,000.
Wow.
Brownie.
I was a big Collingwood crowd out there. So
It was It's funny. As I was standing there, I was going, I'm a bit flat for my boy here because he's gone through what do you mean auction and what's going on? And I'll go first.
Big Collingwood contingency.
Big Collingwood contingency. Anyway, so Bucks goes for $2,000.
And you're third.
I'm third.
Here he is, the national brand.
All I would say is...
So the benchmark's been set. It's got to be more than 2.
You would have thought so, wouldn't you? No,
It stalled at 1,600.
bidding was slow. Bidding slow. It stalled at 1,600. But I was kind of happy. He's already covered him. But then I think when I yelled out, I'll pay $5,000 and I can sit by myself. That got him going again. And the final number was...
Got to 2,000 though. He evened up with Bucks.
Equal.
And then they wouldn't bang it down.
And I said, listen, I'll just throw in, next bid, I'll make up the difference, you know what I mean, just to beat Bucks. You know, a little bit. So table 14, Swanee.
Yeah.
The boys went with a bid of $2,010.
Ah, look at that.
I say table 14 because I remember that Rob, Ned, Glenn, Nick, Leo and Nunzio.
You don't remember at all. You just read that off your phone.
Yeah, because I wrote them down.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I remember on the day, I said on the day that it was like sitting on the set of Underbelly.
Nunzio's my favourite.
They were up and about the boys.
Nunzio didn't stay the whole time, Swanee. There was a shipment coming in at 5.
His pager went off.
His pager went off. He took a call and then he threw the phone out the window. It was really... No, the boys are great.
Anyway, the boys love that. That table love that. Absolutely.
So that's Friday covered.
That's Friday till about 3 o'clock. We can't have to, I don't have to, I'm going to do this over 3 days.
Yeah.
Put it this way. A little bit of sizzle for some time during the, I went out with Dano and Jack again.
Sorry, I just slipped.
Can I just set the arvo quickly? We've done the gig. It was fantastic too.
It was wonderful.
We should take Bucks on the road. Bucks had some great stories.
He really did.
You sit back anyway. So
You seem surprised. Of course he did.
No,
Well,
but
if you see him on telly, I don't think there's much there. You know?
But we did the lunch, and then I had to drop the boys in the city because I had to go to work.
Yeah.
And I had about half an hour up my sleeve, so we've pulled up. Dino goes, there's a place called Harry Dickens.
Charles Dickens.
Charles Dickens area. So roll up Collins Street. You wouldn't believe there's a big loading zone right out the front of Charles Dickens.
Yes.
Just wound the Hilux in there.
Slid the Hilux.
Slid the Hilux in. I go, quick pot.
I've never been down there either, but it was, you go down the stairs, Swanee. So it was like going into Cheers.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
It was
unbelievable.
Swanee, I felt like I was in a very powerful position knowing that they were a bit lick it up.
Yeah.
And they had 2 envelopes in their jacket pocket.
How fun.
Put it this way. 12 hours later, when we were at the Lucky King in Brunswick Street, they were on me, Swanee.
Want to see what happens in the studio? Check it out on Facebook. Follow Chrissie, Sam and Brownie.
Currently, the cookout, the post-wedding cookout is happening at Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck's big wedding. Of course, they got married in Las Vegas earlier. This one was the family and friends, the proper one. And it occurred at Ben's plantation-style property in Georgia, which, of course, is attracting all sorts of opinions.
That's fun.
Whoa.
I didn't know that he lived in Georgia.
No, that's where I get my peaches, actually. Thank you.
Thank you.
Got a big farm there or something.
Yeah, I thought he would have been... I thought he's a Boston boy, born and bred, and I thought he'd stick around.
Heaps of celebs live in Atlanta.
I'm going to tip many properties, Christine.
Yeah, I think he just chose.
One
he
bedroom
chose
is-
this one. Yeah. How long do you give it, J-Lo and Ben? I think it's forever.
Until eternity.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
For eternity.
He's not going to be humming a certain song at some point?
Come on, fellas.
No?
Maybe.
It'd be hard for Affleck, wasn't it? Wouldn't it?
It'd be hard. It'd be hard, wouldn't it?
How's he going to get away with it on?
Well, I think it helps that
Get away with it. Is that what it's doing?
That's the only thing that matters. I think it helps that
Well,
he's
that's why you're on Ashley Madison, because you want to get away with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know, it's funny.
I think it helps that he's clean and sober this time.
For how long?
Oh, I think forever. I think he's got too much at stake.
Fall off the wagon.
Anyway, on Friday before the wedding, Ben's mum fell off a dock at his property. Don't you hate falling off your private dock?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a drag.
Has your mum ever been to your house, Brownie, and fell into the moat?
Good question.
No. She's good on her feet. Well balanced, Mirza. No, Mary.
In fairness, you have just put anti-slip stuff on the moat.
On the draw.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
That's no good. Is she all right?
She was taken to emergency in an ambulance. She's fine. Ben Affleck and J-Lo both took her to
She
hospital.
didn't slip into the water.
Not 100% sure of the details. Bad enough to call an ambulance.
Yeah, okay.
But here's the ultimate sign of you've enjoyed yourself at a wedding. an ambulance was also called to the wedding. There's been 2 ambulances in as many days.
This would be exciting.
What, the ambulance gets to the hospital after dropping the mother-in-law off and then he has
Turns around.
I've got to go back.
This one turned up to the wedding on Saturday night.
Yep.
Arrived at the guest check-in entrance of Affleck's residence.
Yep.
God, I love my guest check-in entrance at my place, don't you?
It's nice, yeah.
Arrived around 8:45 and took an unidentified male
Yes.
to hospital.
Affleck's back on the drink.
Now, I'm reckoning 8:45, dinner's been served.
They've gone early, 8:45.
8:45's early. But I have sprained my ankle around that time to Destiny's Child music.
That's fair.
And I reckon the mains it started early. The mains have been served. Everything's done.
Yeah.
They've started the music at 8:30 p.m. And very quickly that man has done the Cossack dance. He's gone too low and he's pulled, maybe like our social media guy, maybe he's pulled his calf muscle off the bone.
Off. Those words are chilling.
Yeah.
Off the bone.
I went to a wedding many years ago and it was at this amazing place on Mornington Peninsula that used to be, I think it's called Morning Star. It used to be like an old orphanage or like boys' home. Extraordinary property. And obviously full of very sad memories, but now full of lovely memories because of, weddings.
Yeah.
I don't think the sadness would ever go, though.
No, it does seem to, it does cling to the walls
Seem
a
to
little
hover.
bit.
I'm saying that, yeah,
The
would
pall
just
of darkness.
Yeah, above it. But I'm not saying you'd mention him in the vows. I'm just saying you would just acknowledge where you are.
There was a conga line, guys. There was a conga line.
That's fun.
And a weird sort of cobblestone irregular step, like a surprise irregular step. And they're the worst, the ones that go long step, short step, long step.
Yeah.
Anyway, this woman fell. She was at the front of the conga line. Fell.
Oh, no, not the front.
The front.
She was the pilot.
She was the head of the caterpillar.
She the only one that went down?
Yes, she was the only one that went down.
I was hoping for a game of human dominoes. Don't you?
But she went down so hard, her ankle was at I'll never forget the angle. And an ambulance came. An ambulance came
Cool.
to the wedding. It also reminds me of the great Gary from Dramana.
Oh, yeah.
Who called us a few years ago, and he had many, many zingers about a man who went to a wedding that he was at.
His uncle, I believe.
His uncle, maybe the bride's uncle. And he had a heart attack on the dance floor. And instead of showing sympathy and compassion, Gary had a joke.
Yeah, I thought the disco lights had arced up again, but it was the ambulance.
Dang! He thought the disco lights had arced up again, but it was an ambulance.
Chrissie, Sam and Brownie.
Number 35 for Richmond.
Hey there, Nathan, bro. Let's talk footy with you.
Brodie.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you.
Geez, Brodie, you don't have to go on about it. Jeez, that's unbelievable.
I do recall a few months ago getting into me and... No, I won't say anything.
What did I say?
I think we might have lost to North Melbourne maybe, and she was a few fine words from yourself, but...
All right,
What are you gonna say
you
now?
can hold a grudge, can't you?
What do you say now?
Apologise.
Loser. Are your team's watching? Oh, yeah, you can book your holiday, though, Sam.
Brodie, did you
Go
guys...
away in September.
On the rebuild.
Did you guys lose to North this year?
We did, yeah. We lost to a few.
That's wild.
That's when Clarko made his decision. I'm going to coach them.
The thing about the Tigers, they just keep you guessing. When you think they're going to win, they don't. When you think they're going to lose, they win.
The most dangerous team in the final, Swanee. I'm a bit concerned because they open up the final series Thursday week, September 1st, against my boys, the Lions, up in the Gabator.
Is there a feeling at this point in any season that what's gone before you doesn't matter? And there's this is like a supplementary number. The march to the granny.
I reckon maybe the last month or so leading into the finals means a lot. We've always said it, you don't play your best footy at the start of the year, and we certainly didn't do that this year.
No, you didn't.
But we've come good now, and I think we're really building
Was
it
that
up.
another clip at Carlton then, was it?
I'm
It
interested.
seemed like it was, mate.
Just a slight one, maybe.
You said at the start of the year that Carlton were going to be good and we're going to make the finals.
I know, yeah, and then they were 5-0 or something. I thought they were...
Yeah, look, in
10-2.
fairness to
Yeah,
Carlton,
home
they
and hose.
nearly did. I mean, it's,
Thank you,
a
Christine.
couple of points in it, quite literally a couple of points.
How do you go against Brisbane traditionally?
Pretty good, yeah. We normally match up well. They jumped out of the blocks last time very early and got us, but we managed to fight back and win. So,
and will Dusty be back?
I hope so. I think he trained really well on Friday, and he'll join the group, I hope, this week. So
that's what they've been told to say. Tom Lynch, is he playing?
Lynchy?
What happened to him?
I haven't seen Lynchy since, but he got scared.
Right, told to say this as well.
No.
I don't have a direct line to Chris Fagan. You can tell us. I'm not going to ring Fags and say I was talking to Brodie this morning.
If I was a betting man, I'd say Lynchy will be playing.
Okay.
Yep.
Beautiful. And the Gabba holds good memories too. You won the AFL Grand Final there 2 years ago.
I love the Gabba, yeah. Yeah, it's beautiful. I wouldn't mind going up a little bit early, to be honest, and enjoy some sun and settle in.
It's time for you to win it at the MCG, though, isn't it?
I think so. I think we deserve it.
Yeah, it's been
due for it.
In 3 years or something, isn't it?
I've got a question. I've got a question for you. Obviously, you love football, more than the average person because you play it professionally. Everyone was really excited this weekend. MCG almost at capacity, beautiful Melbourne day, 2 huge heritage clubs, and a great game. Do you watch it? Is that interesting to you?
I don't go to the games. I went to an Anzac game maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and it was horrific. Yeah, hated sitting within the public and that. So I just didn't do that again. They're all a head coach and they all have played 100 games of AFL football. So didn't do that. But I did watch the last quarter. It was a very exciting game to watch.
Good, wasn't it?
And the outcome determined what happened to us too, so I was involved in it.
How do you watch it? Do you watch it with a critical eye, or can you park your professional football career and watch it as a punter?
Especially when, like yesterday, if Collingwood won, then we played Brisbane. If Carlton won, we played Collingwood. So I watched it as a punter yesterday, and it was good.
All right, so Tigers are flying. They're going to win the flag. What's that? Ben Rutten used to be at Richmond, did he?
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Because he's obviously yesterday got sacked as a Essendon coach.
He did.
Right? Because I think the last time I saw you on Thursday night, he was considered, I think, safe for now. And I said this on the front bar. I said, I've been in a lot of relationships where the girlfriend said to me, ex-girlfriend said, you're safe for now. It's not always a ringing endorsement, you know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. So how have you seen the way your, a former assistant coach or whatever he was at your club being treated this week?
Oh, yeah, it was hard to watch. It was a bit disappointing, to be honest, from the outside. I thought he's been harshly done by. He's an unreal coach. We had him in 2017 and he was unreal, and we saw him after the game. He was pretty emotional, so...
He made the call because it was emotional scenes for him, and obviously you boys got around him and he was emotional. So you obviously would have referenced it during the week or before the game, did you? Or that was just a spur of the moment thing post-game?
Just a spur of the moment, yeah. We could tell by looking across he was pretty emotional, so I just went up to him and said, we've got your back, we're here for you, and that didn't go down.
How do you think it should have been handled, and who made the decisions to balls it up so badly?
I don't know. I think he's contracted for next year. I think he's a great coach. I think he should personally be there next year coaching them. And from the chatting to the players, they love him. So it's a weird call. Maybe it's something hierarchy that's pulling the strings.
Yeah, on Brownie, you got to say something. They stuffed it up.
They absolutely butchered it. Honestly, butchered it more than Lions butchered Friday night.
But should they have not pursued Clarko, or should they have told Ben Rutten that they were going to do it?
No, if they were going to pursue him, it should have been months ago when part of the board wanted to. So that's where strong leadership comes in, Swanee.
Yeah.
You need to go. You've got the greatest coach of the modern era. He's there. Unfortunately, there's some collateral. They need to go to Ben Rutten and say, you know what, we're going to go and talk to him, or maybe just go and talk to Clarko. And Clarko, I'm reasonably confident he'd be coaching Essendon right now. They ballsed it up. They got in late. Clarko's a long way down the track with North Melbourne, and then they disrespected Ben Rutten at the same time by not even telling him. So there was no other way it was going to end up than Ben Rutten was going to be sacked yesterday morning, because the trust was lost. Truck was just hanging around because if he walked off his own bat, he wouldn't be paid out. So he was just staring at the Essendon Football Club, staring them down, saying, okay, you guys are going to have to sack me. You've disrespected me, but you're going to have to sack me, and then you're going to have to pay me out.
And this is this is why I'm telling you right now, Nathan Broad, as a contributor to this show, that we are currently talking to Christian Protaka. Hey, at least you know.
Exactly
right. At least you know.
Brodie,
so gone, he's gone.
Brodie, you do not move. Back in a second.
Do you want to see what this looks like? Well, get the visuals on Instagram. Follow Chrissie, Sam and Brownie.
We got Brodie in the studio, and you must be licking your lips at a vulnerable Brisbane Lions outfit, Brodie.
Yeah, they got a few at the MRO, I think, as well, so they could lose another couple. So, which is exciting.
Dino uses the word vulnerable because Jonathan used it 13 times in 45 seconds at the 6:10 chat.
Yeah, but with good reason.
Brodie
Good
loves that
reason. Why?
Well, they're the team that started the vulnerability chat, the Richmond Tigers, in 2017, but I think just too much. It's been a buzzword too much, and Brisbane may have listened to it too much before Friday's game because they were too vulnerable for me, Swanee. I don't want a vulnerable team.
Gross.
I want a team of killers next Thursday night against the Richmond Tigers. Vulnerability, yuck.
Have you got a question?
Throw it out.
Have you got a question for Brodie?
No, I don't. What do you think about the bye weekend? Before the finals, the pre-finals bye.
Yeah, I think it's good. It's probably helps us too with Dusty and Lynchy, so it's worked well for us. So, all for it.
Now, I've got to ask you the question about the great Neil Baum. He was in here the other day plugging his book. Have you worked out, we gave you a project to do in the last fortnight, have you worked out still what he does at the Richmond Tigers?
His official title at the club.
Yes, I did go and have a chat to Barmy, actually. We spoke about him coming in on Nova, and I actually asked him what he'd been doing lately, Barmy, to get to the bottom of this. And he does a lot of appearance stuff with corporate stuff.
Oh, he's doing cashies now.
So he takes the heat off Dimmer and that, and goes and does all the...
No, we were looking for an actual title.
Yeah, I don't think there's a title to it. So.
We did ask him about you, and he said you're a great guy.
Did he? Oh, he's a good man, Barmy, yeah.
Got to be honest, I don't think it took a while for him to remember who you were. It didn't straight away.
That guy.
Yeah. What number is he? There's a lot of that.
He likes you because you got the same initials. He said us MBs.
He did.
That's true. He did say that.
Hey, Brodie, who'd you play on the weekend?
Stringer. And then he got knocked out very early. So
how many goals did he kick on?
He still kicked one, actually. First goal of the game for him.
And that was after he was knocked out as well.
What about the other night? You weren't great in the first half. Did Dimmer ever give you boys a touch-up?
He did. He gave us a clip at half-time.
I wouldn't go into detail.
We won't name names, just say
that.
No,
I won't go into what he said, but it was...
Does he get all red? What's his characteristic, though? Because we had an assistant coach. His teeth fell out during a spray. He was going berserk and his teeth flew out of his mouth, his false teeth.
What?
And he caught his false teeth mid-spray, put them back in.
Oh, that's
and
impressive.
continued
That's
to spray.
unbelievable.
Has Dimmer got any characteristics when he really lights up? Like you get the red neck, the veins
Is
popping?
he a spitter?
He's all right when he's at a distance. When he's in close, no one's safe. He throws a few hands around. Can get you one in the chest and that. So
he punches
people. He's just a bit pushy in that. Yeah, so
I like that.
But I don't mind. It gets you going.
Yeah,
Really?
Hey, after the premiership wins, does Dimmer come out with you guys like to the end of the night, like the proper end of the night when the sun comes up?
Like Sister Bean, the nun that taught me English, and then she came to the Toc H to celebrate at the end of year 12. Nothing better than a nun on the dance floor.
Oh, yeah. But no, Dimmer, no?
No, a couple of beers and then it leaves us to it. Yeah,
that's very weird.
Do we have a question from Brodie?
Of course we do. We're going to launch into it. Here we go.
Brodie's serious analytical footy question of the week. Nathan.
Despite making the finals, Richmond laid the fewest tackles of any side in the competition. You have absolutely no chance of winning the premiership, do you?
No team can catch us. We've just got the ball. We're not doing the tackling. We're doing the scoring.
Bang. Choke on that,
Suck on that, Brodie.
Suck it, Brodie.
There's a bit of pep in their step, isn't it? They like this time of year.
Absolutely, they do. They absolutely. And good answer too. You've got the ball. I love that. Brodie's question of the week, and then the answer. Suck on that, Brodie.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Good gear.
Brodie, look after yourself for 2 weeks. We can't wait to watch you take on the vulnerable Brisbane Lions.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
Chrissie, Sam and Brownie.
The podcast.
Good morning, Melbourne. Welcome to your Monday. Exciting news for those in the car on the way to school. It's book week.
Oh.
Book week.
Really?
Are you guys,
is that dress up?
Yeah. Are you guys all across it?
No.
I am. I can't reveal because my kids aren't dressing up till Wednesday.
What's the theme, Swanee?
Same as every year. You've got to dress as a character from a book. I've outdone myself this year.
Is it not a theme of the actual? Is it a theme that they set for the schools each year?
Sometimes.
Or is it just your book?
It's generally you go through your picture book collection and you pick someone you like.
The theme is gambling this year. It's going to be.
Oh, nice.
It's going to be fantastic.
Cards, well, my kids would be good at that.
Tell me, Bam Bam is going in a loincloth and he's going with
a wooden club.
Yeah. Yeah, he probably will, actually. I think he's crooked today. He turned up at junior footy yesterday.
Yeah.
$50 cash from his pocket money to spend at the kiosk.
What did you do? You roll up
This
and
is
clean.
10 o'clock in the morning. I had 3 crunchies going at about 10:15.
You rolled up and the 9-year-old rolls up and just cleans them out.
It was unbelievable. I go, mate, what are you doing? He goes, breakfast.
This is the Chrissie, Sam and Brownie podcast.
Dino's face. Of course, that's funny, isn't it? Because Sam is a dyed-in-the-wool Carlton supporter.
Anyway, if you're unaware, Collingwood is into the top 4 while Carlton has been bundled out of the finals. Well, they were actually in the... You know, it's good to point out, Carlton, I read this on Twitter, I think, Carlton were in the 8 for every round except now.
Commiserations to you and everybody who follows Carlton.
Thank you.
I am a eternal optimist, as you know. And the way I see it is there needs to be a process of returning.
Absolutely.
And this is an excellent outcome as step one.
It would. I think it's very good
Vossi
points,
said
Bonnie.
that post game.
Yeah.
Did he? See, I've missed my calling.
If they
should be a coach.
you should be. If they played in finals, it would have been nice because you're in the finals.
Of
and
course.
Then you launch next year, but that's fine. They're on the right track.
Yeah, they
People
would have
forget
played
how-
Collingwood 2 weeks in a row. The AFL would have loved that.
And you're right, Sam. People forget, don't they?
They do. I would say this. There's a great quote. Don't let today's disappointment cast a shadow on tomorrow's dream.
Correct.
You know who said that? Army Hammer.
Bright future. They'll be
He's
selling
wise,
real
mate.
estate before they know those players.
Hammer,
You
wise.
Did you say that because you weren't at the big game? Fox Footy had you on boundary line duties for St Kilda versus Sydney, didn't they?
Woof.
Were you even calling the game or just on the boundary?
No, I was calling the game.
That's good.
Yes, I called
And you went
the
back.
game.
You went and
Well,
watched
it
it.
had a lot of permutations. Okay, how many times has permutations been used in the last week?
Not enough.
Not enough.
Do it again.
Permutations and combinations.
What's been used more, permutations or vulnerability?
Yeah, well, vulnerability, so yesterday. The new buzzword is permutation, Swanee.
John, are you saying it's healthy to be vulnerable in life, but not in football? Is that what you're saying?
Well, not if you play for the Brisbane Lions on Friday night against Melbourne. Not a time to be vulnerable, I wouldn't have thought. Unless you want to be 13 goals down. Anyway, we move on.
We do move on.
Sydney and St Kilda was a big game. A lot happening for them.
It's obviously next week. If you're unaware, there's a bye, a little freshen up. All the teams don't play, and then the first week of the finals. Who's playing? Do we know the draw, John?
Yeah, we do, Sam. Would you like me to go through it?
What,
Am I announcing the AFL fixture, am I?
Oh, I'm just curious.
It's Thursday night.
Oh, gosh, he's
Thank you.
aggressive today.
Just because your team's no good. Look, my team didn't make the finals. Why are you so upset? Your team's in the finals, still with a chance.
Brisbane hosts Richmond
On the
next Thursday night, Thursday week.
The Gabbatoir.
At the Gabbatoir. It's not really a Gabbatoir, but...
We're watching that at your house. If Fox Footy call you up and say, "Oh, big fella, we need you,"
No, Lynch,
you say you're sick.
Lynch, you'll have that game. So it's Thursday night. It's a Gabba. That opens the finals. Then Friday night, I'm surprised it's Melbourne-Sydney. I thought it would have been Collingwood-Geelong, which is on the Saturday twilight at the MCG, and they finish Saturday night with Fremantle hosting the Western Bulldogs over in Perth.
Fox Footy won't call you up for those big games, do they? But if there's a VFL game, like if Box Hill are playing Frankston or something...
Shots fired.
I'll be down there.
He's going to hit
bells
you.
on.
Today's the day he's going to launch across that desk and choke you.
John, who's the new... Essendon have... not Alistair Clarkson went to North. Essendon sacked Ben Rutten.
They were forced to. I like that element of it.
Why were they forced to?
Because he said, "You idiots have got to sack me now.
Yeah.
You embarrassment."
He didn't say it publicly, but behind closed doors, he stared them down.
Privately.
Yes.
They talked about possibly James Hird going through the process and returning, and Jobe Watson was asked about it yesterday, and he said, in the words of Tony Soprano, "Remember when is the lowest form of conversation."
Yes.
Don't go back. I remember when.
I've never heard that, and I like it.
Unfortunately, there's too much of that at Essendon. So they've been stuffed ever since we rolled them in the O1 Grand Final. It's been the best part of 21 years. Best part of 21 years.
You lose today. When you're upset at your team being insipid,
He's
you loosen up a bit.
He's really disappointed.
You're really disappointed, aren't you?
I am.
Well, there's only one thing for it. Why don't you go coach him?
Don't even plant that.
Well, I could have said yesterday in the pre-game who's going to coach yesterday, and I could have said, yeah, I will. I'm thinking about taking it up because no one would have been watching Swanee because everyone was watching Carlton Collingwood. But who's going to coach them? The president, David Barham, he used to be a big sports executive. He was the boss of Channel 10 there. I think there's Channel 10 Sport there for a long time. He said that they want an experienced coach. So, Leon Cameron's out there. There's talk about Ken Hinkley. They're going to try and poach him away from Port Adelaide. Ross Lyon.
Ken Hinkley sounds like the sort of a name of a 1960s serial killer.
Oh,
what do you think?
Yeah.
A good bloke, Kenny, too.
Speaking of serial killers, Qantas is doesn't even work. Qantas is offering its frequent flyers a $50 travel credit.
That doesn't seem enough,
in
does
an
it?
attempt to revive its brand following an increase in complaints. Well, how could you not? How could you not complain the way that mob has returned from the pandemic? They haven't returned in great form, I would argue, John. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah.
It's yesterday, the Qantas CEO, Alan Joyce, has apologised to customers for the inconvenience caused by the airlines.
Did he show some vulnerability, did he?
Well, he should, by the way.
You pay for them because they're the flash one, and then they're often not on time. You're like, what did I pay for?
I've flown them twice or 3 times, maybe 4 times for the Masked Singer when I had to fly around. They were on time. They didn't lose my baggage.
Well, someone's getting...
Well, no, it can't be that. There were hundreds of people on the flight.
Wouldn't have thought so.
When we used to fly Qantas, they would fly us at half altitude. Because we had the one pilot every time.
Now
Just
that's special treatment.
That's because Pikey was in the cockpit.
Pikey was in the cockpit, because they worked out that it was a lot better for your body when you travel.
Did you get a discount because you weren't as high?
No.
50% off.
I think it's more expensive because they use more fuel.
Hundreds of women in Finland have been posting videos of themselves dancing to support the Prime Minister, Sanna Marin, who's become embroiled in a scandal because videos emerged of her partying.
Well, so they should be supporting him.
Absolutely. Imagine having a leader who's actually, kind of young enough to still dance and go to parties, as opposed to ours, who are just, Anyway, she's come under fire because videos emerged of her dancing, and she went to a party.
Yeah, she secretly invited a few friends
Albo
too.
used to go
on
the
the
big
list.
day out. Albo used to go the big day out, and that's pretty cool.
Ever wondered what happens in the studio? Check out Chrissie, Sam and Brownie on Instagram.
Now prepare to be amazed.
Mystic Chrissie.
I saw an Italian flag.
No, not at all.
Hawaiian pizza.
Hate Hawaiian pizza.
You do grow your own basil, Grace?
No, I don't.
I see a white car, though.
No.
Are you a fillet of fish girl, Grace?
Hate seafood.
What will she predict next?
Look, that wasn't Chrissie, Mystic Chrissie's finest hour.
A bit off last week.
I feel like Grace was not with me.
Yeah, same.
Hang on.
Feel like
Someone is indicating in their car. My spidey senses tell me. Emmy from Maribyrnong. Emmy.
Hi, sorry, I'm pulling over in 1 second.
Mate.
Oh, we'll just wait. Fine.
Yeah. I like the blinker on. It's just nice sort of background ambience.
Emmy, look, straight away I see High Point and I see the muffin break there and I see the carrot cake.
Yes, I go there, but I'm not there right now.
No, but do you go to that muffin break sometimes?
No.
No, that's me.
Hey, Mystics, sharpen up. You got this.
Okay.
You've got this.
All right, I see Las Vegas around you, Emmy. Las Vegas.
I wish.
Okay.
So never been there? Just to clarify, never been there, Emmy?
No, never been there.
Love to go.
Love to go, wouldn't we all?
Yep.
I can see a cactus.
No.
Come on, Mystic.
She's wanting to play, Swanee.
Yeah, I know.
You've got to ask her the right question.
All right, now this might be an uncomfortable conversation, Emmy, but I'm just going to say it. You've called up, you've made yourself vulnerable.
Have you ever made love to a cactus? No? Was that not it?
No.
That wasn't it.
Okay.
You can answer that if you want, Emmy.
No, Emmy,
Okay.
don't worry about it. Just assume yes.
I can see there's been some secrets unearthed around a mobile phone.
Not that I know of.
Yeah, that you might want to check.
Oh, shit.
Do you have suspicions, Emmy?
I guess so.
She does now.
She does now, yeah.
Well, it's gonna be a really confronting situation, but you're gonna have to get onto that. There's some lies.
Have you ever heard the Ashley Madison song?
Good question. Have you, Emmy?
A few times on here.
Is Emmy married? Or she got a partner, Swanee?
No, Emmy's not married.
No, I'm not married.
Emmy, should we stop playing the Ashley Madison theme? Because I can't gauge, because we're enjoying it in the studio. But
No, don't stop.
Looking for someone other than my wife.
Oh, look, other than my wife. Ashley Madison's right.
Get back to Emmy, Swanee.
I see the Bombers around you, Emmy. Essendon football team.
Not even a no then. It was
Collingwood all the way.
Collingwood.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Your eyesight's pretty good.
It's not. It's not.
It's not. Is it bad?
No, it's great.
Yeah, that's right. No.
Sorry.
Also, I see like a sore neck, Emmy. Is there a sore neck around you?
Oh, I have had a sore neck, actually.
Mate, we've all had sore necks.
Can I just go back? Just because it would have been the greatest answer in the history of radio.
Yeah.
If you'd said, your eyesight, what would you say about your eyesight?
I said your eyesight is bad. Did I say?
No, you said it's good, didn't you?
Yeah, I said it's good.
Yeah.
I said you got great eyesight.
Great
no
eyesight.
problems there.
If Emmy had replied, I've been blind since birth, I would have walked out of the studio and never done radio again. It's the greatest. That would have been the greatest moment in the history of radio.
Oh, there's been pretty strong rejections of everything I've said today.
Well, Dino, that would have been the equivalent of Dino asking that lady if you got a father, you got a present for him, and he passed away.
It's all good and you move on. And this could be the last ever Mystic Chrissie. I feel like Mystic Chrissie's on
She does
life
have a
support.
sore neck. I think you've got to have a massage. I really recommend that. Spicy food is not your friend, Emmy.
Oh, I love spicy food.
Mate, you don't have a pulse at the moment.
I'm really low in iron, and it's affecting my.
You move on, Denise.
It's affecting me. I promise you. Once I've got my infusion, I'll be
We
really
need a
good.
defibrillator in the studio.
SNS. You like SNS nails?
No, I never.
Oh, let's get out of here. I hate myself.
Oh, Mystic Chrissie has actually left
She's
the
walking.
studio.
No.
I think we just witnessed the death of Mystic
No,
Chrissie.
we haven't.
I'll do Mystic Sam next week.
Chrissie.
Oh, wait, hey. I'm going to give you a prize because you went through a lot just now, Emmy. You won a year binge subscription.
Oh, thank you.
And House of the Dragon's on it, and it's off the hook, and you can watch every new episode on Mondays. Congratulations.
Chrissie, Sam and Brownie.
And one of the greats.
The fourth microphone is in use and everybody's getting loose. I say, Denise Scott is here. She's in the studio.
It is Denise Scott. I want to take my clothes off.
Welcome, Scotty. It's always such a thrill to see you.
And such a thrill to be here and have that sexy intro.
It's so sexy, and why wouldn't it be?
Why
It's about
wouldn't it
you.
be?
You are on Have You Been Paying Attention tonight? It's
Indeed.
always my favourite when you're on.
Of course it is. It's what everyone's.
Yes, it's true.
Well, I don't know what to say. What am I meant to say?
Yeah, there's no question there. Do you enjoy doing a show?
I do. You know, I'm a little bit frightened of it.
you?
Yes, because you've got to know stuff and you've got to be funny. And you've
But
got
that's
to,
you. That's you every day, naturally,
You're right.
in your
You're
natural
right. What am I
state.
talking
Yes.
about? Yes.
No, that self-loathing's no good in this studio.
Oh, self-loathing is the greatest gift. I've always said to my kids reckon, like, they've always said, oh, Mum, we get the self-loathing gene from you, and it's just being awful. And I said, now, listen here. Yeah. Self-loathing is one of the loveliest things. It makes you think about yourself. It questions.
It's a good engine.
It's a good engine. And, and you can... I don't know what I'm talking about.
You started off so well.
Yeah, I know. And I realised halfway through I was going nowhere, had nowhere to go.
Oh, no.
What a catchphrase that is for you, isn't it? You just talk words, and then eventually, I have no idea what you're talking about. I can't remember. That's not actually the case. But it's always fun to do the show with you. You know that, don't you? Hopefully you're aware of that.
Oh, yes.
We love having, it's beautiful.
Yes, it is. And thank you for having me on for the first time this year.
Yeah, listen, I don't book the show, all right, Scotty. I'm not in charge of the booking.
Well, you're a busy woman. You're on the road. You're on the road a lot.
Actually,
Yeah, with
on
show
your
with
Saturday
Jeff,
nights are
busy.
busy. What'd you
Oh,
do?
yeah, you know what I did Saturday night? I watched not Midsummer Murders. Is it Grant Chester or The Priest? The
Antiques
Priest and the
Roadshow.
Detective. No, it was anyway.
The priest and the detective.
What? And they're a duo. They're a duo.
They're a duo. Yes. Oh, you've got to get into it. They solve crimes in the little English village.
The priest.
And the priest is really sexy.
Oh, I love a sexy priest.
Sleeps with someone every week.
Really?
Yes.
That's against the rules. Have you seen Fleabag? There's a hot priest in that too.
Oh, yes, of course I've seen Fleabag.
Now-
Let's move on from hot priests.
You are on the road with Judith Lucy. Are you just like, mucking up hotel rooms and fighting and...
No, this is the thing. Judith and I, very reclusive.
Yeah.
Like, we finish the show, she goes to her room, I go to mine, and that's it. That's
Are you coming to Are you bringing it to Melbourne again? It was one of the funniest shows I've ever seen in my life.
Well, of course, the show we're talking about is still here. And, it's...
Was that the priest? Just broke into the conversation.
By the way,
No.
that show's called Grant Chester.
Grantchester.
How
Yes.
English does that sound?
Yeah, but the show you're doing with Judith Lucy is called Still Here, which was a
Yes.
big hit at the Melbourne Comedy Festival, and then you've taken it on the road.
Taken it on the road, and we're still on the road. We're having fun. Of course, there was the fallout from when Judith got COVID in Adelaide. You've heard this story.
Yeah.
I've told
Say
you
it
the story.
again.
Oh, okay.
Go again.
No.
I can't remember it.
No, yes, she got COVID. And she had to go to hospital. She got very sick.
And Denise
Emergency.
instead packed all her stuff as a good friend and drove directly to the airport.
Yes.
Good.
Yes, I abandoned her. And she's still talking about it on stage every night.
Be vulnerable with us. Do you think that you could have done things differently?
I think in hindsight, yes, I could have shown a little more care.
Yeah.
I could have stayed to find out if she lived or died.
She drank herself into the hospital. I want to ask you a question, Denise.
Oh, please.
Oh, here we go.
Sam Pang has started the journey of the comedy journey. How do you feel about Sam entering the room that you've been in for the last 30 years?
Well, this whole notion of there being a comedy room, like it's some mystical thing, is complete nonsense. And Sam has been doing this for how long now? Oh, all right. Boo-hoo. Poor Sam Pang. Boo-hoo. Who's going to come and see Sam Pang? But he sells out.
Yes.
Like, the Palais.
Yes.
It took me,
Two shows.
Took me 40 years.
Well, it might have
40
something.
years
It might have
do a
something to
big
do with who
venue.
else is on the bill.
Yeah, I'm not doing a solo show.
Oh, if you
Dennis.
did it solo, you'd sell out.
Probably.
In fact, I reckon get rid of Mick Malloy, Lawrence Mooney,
Marty
Sheargold.
Sheargold.
Dead weight.
Can you give us just a couple more boo-hoos? I love that.
Oh, boo-hoo, Sam Pang comedy. But,
Inspiring, beautiful
I'll
words,
give you a
thank
word
you.
of advice,
Yes.
though. Jean Kitson, who is a comedian, she once said, because she was really famous, she went very famous quite young.
She was she had that great sort of hippie alternative character, Candida.
Yeah, on the big gig.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're talking 1870. No, but she was very
Yeah,
famous.
it was a long time ago.
And she said, the worst part of being famous from TV, radio, was that when you did a live gig, you'd walk out to enormous applause and then at the end walk off to really disappointed applause. So just keep that in mind, Sam.
I'm used to disappointing. I'm used to disappointing people.
The expectations don't match the reality.
Does the comedy world think Sam's a bit of a blow-in? Like a Johnny Come Lately?
Whoa.
Like just all of a sudden just turning it?
I don't want to talk about Sam. Can we talk about me?
Yes, let's talk about
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure. How are your knitting needles?
Knitting needles going well, clickety-clacking like crazy, making a little jumper for my grandson Lenny. Cable stitch.
Yeah. If
you don't hardly mind.
It was a good horse cable stitch.
How do you travel with them? With your knitting needles? Or are they just at a home
Yes, you
thing?
can. You can travel with knitting
is that
needles.
allowed?
You can take
Seems
it on.
unusual.
I know. You can take them on the plane, so look out.
Do you
Scotty.
get nervous that you're going to be taken for a terrorist?
With my knitting needle.
Yeah.
I get nervous that they'll take my knitting off me, and that would really do my head in. I'd cause trouble there.
What do you? So
how can you not take a cup of coffee on the plane? Yeah, you can take knitting needles, which you could stab someone with.
Don't say that, because then they'll get wind of it and I won't be able to knit on the plane.
Scotty, how many times have you been to Edinburgh to perform?
What the hell is going on this morning?
Well, it's going somewhere.
All right. I've been once to Edinburgh to perform.
I thought you would have done it like in their 20s and 30s and
No.
Okay, right.
Because I had... No. Where's it going?
Yeah.
Well, I just want to
he's just curious. He's a curious boy.
I am.
This is not a scripted talk break. You have to remember your lines here.
Yeah, so I went once and it was not that long ago and it was a disaster. I got 1-star reviews. Thanks for bringing it up. It was because I was like in my 60s when I went first time, and I thought, I'll clean up in Edinburgh. Why would I?
Yeah.
And this is no lie. John, my partner, came with me, and he's the clown, as you know. And
That's also he is actually a clown. That's just like, he's a clown. He's a professional clown. Yeah.
And we had a suit. He wore stilts every day on the cobblestones in Edinburgh. He went out in really tall stilts, and we had a suit made with my face all over it and the name of my show, and he played ukulele to attract audiences to my show.
Great idea.
So it was a disaster. He was so good that all these local Scottish ladies came to my show expecting to see a man on stilts playing ukulele perform, and they'd be going, "Where's the man on the stilts? What's it? I've got a bad accent.
No, that was really good.
What's going on?" And they hated me and were crying out for John to come back here with these stilts.
Another great Dino question.
That was a good one.
That was a good one.
Oh, yeah, you met when he was a clown, didn't you? Did you meet Johnny when he was a clown?
Yes, as I always say, it was love at first. Honk, honk.
You're amazing.
Have we got to wrap up now?
Yeah, we do.
Anything else you want to get out?
I wanted to do a mystic. Chrissie, I've got a...
do
moment.
it.
What do you got?
Okay, well, I was doing a gig, right, in Geelong, and I got the train down to Geelong, and these women were sitting opposite me, and they were talking about this terrible thing with their dog. This, something had happened to this woman's dog, and she didn't know what to do, and blah, blah, blah. And they hadn't noticed me. I get to the gig, these women are sitting at a table right near me. They're at the luncheon I'm performing at. So I start performing, and then I go, hang on a minute. This is weird. This is really weird, but I'm really getting a sense from you. I've never met you, but are you having a problem with a dog? And then she's going, yes, I am. Yes, I am. And then she's going, are you? And I divulged the whole saga. And the whole audience.
Blew their mind.
Absolutely. And they went, no, I was sitting opposite you on the train.
That is fantastic.
Scotty.
The best.
And that's also how the big psychics do it, just quietly.
Yeah.
Have you been paying attention? Whenever Scotty's on, unmissable, 8:30 tonight on Channel 10. Love you.
Love ya.
Love you back.
Ever wondered what happens in the studio? Check out Chrissie, Sam and Brownie on Instagram.
Swanee, just to wrap up at the start of our little morning, I mentioned on Friday, Brownie and I went out to Keilor Football Club. That was a lunchtime event on Friday. And then 15 hours later, I was at the Souvlaki King on Brunswick Street with Dean, Jack and others.
That sounds like a really great night.
I had a crack.
Yeah, great.
Look, I may not have possibly been able to drive home, if you know what I mean. I'd had a couple.
That's okay. I drove you.
That's okay.
I drove you around town. I dropped you in the city. How many venues do you think you went to?
I'd say good question, isn't it? I would have been at least 5, right?
Yeah.
And
that's a lot. I think you've overcome your aversion to location changes. Because
they were all close by, Swanee, I'll tell you that.
Okay, great.
They started in the city.
Very
and
important.
It only went about as
Close
far as
by.
Fitzroy. And it didn't, for any night that ends up at the Souvlaki King, for me, do you know what I mean?
It's a great final chapter.
This is my memories.
Close by, Keilor Football Club to the city.
It doesn't start there.
To Fitzroy, to Brunswick.
Great, one of the greats. I recall being put on the phone a lot to a lot of people. There was a lot of people wanted me to talk to their parents or girlfriends and all that. By the way, Swanee, happy to do it. Loved it.
Well, you
Especially
must
when he's juiced
I was
up.
going to
Yeah,
say you must have been drunk.
You get me at a good time. I'm very chatty with strangers on your phone. Because put me on the phone, I'll do a number on you with whoever you put on.
Yeah, right.
You know
You're not
what I mean?
going to get what you expect.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. That's fun for you.
Did the envelope get unlocked, Dino?
I tried to reach into his pocket to find it, and I did.
No, but I only mentioned this, Swanee, not because at the Souvlaki King at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm always, unlike Brownie, I'm very happy to have a photo. And I should mention too, we dined in at the Souvlaki King.
Oh, that's a big step.
I live at the bright lights.
We've got a good table.
Good table.
Table for four.
How'd you
In
get
the
it?
window?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh, no, at the back.
At the back. Surprising.
But I just wanted to ask you this.
Yeah.
If I could just ask you if you think this is one of the greatest signs of respect that a young man approached me in the Souvlaki King and said, introduced himself and said, I'm a big fan. I said, oh, thank you very much. No photo. He had bought me a potato cake and a dim sum. So he handed me a brown paper bag, shook my hand and said, "That's for you."
I hope you've got his number because he's a keeper. That's unbelievable.
Hey? Is there a bigger mark of respect?
There's not.
It was fried too.
Oh my God! I was going to say, is it fried?
They say when you meet your heroes, buy them something from a Bay Marie.
Absolutely, that's fantastic.
I can't believe Nick McGuan didn't do you that.
I should have done it, mate. He's a big mistake.
Have a good day.
Chrissie, Sam and Brownie. Ripper Show will be back tomorrow. Chrissie, Sam and Brownie. Oh, unless it's a weekend.
Over 100.